Hi fellow crafters, welcome to or welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Terry from nutsaboutsstamping.com. I just got a new bundle in the mail, and so today I'm going to show you how to create a beautiful and very simple fun fold idea using it. You don't want to miss this one. Let's start off by having a look at the Decorative Trees bundle. I will admit, when I saw it in the catalog at first, I was like, no, I don't think so. And then, as I started to look at what I had for Christmas this year, I realized that nothing really was appealing to me, or I had phrases but not a lot of images, so I bought it. And let me tell you, I am so glad I did. So, the stamp set has these two tree images, and then it has sort of what I would call embellishments and phrases. So it's sort of like a one-stop shop, which makes it a great value for your dollar. But then have a look at the dies. These are amazing. You have an outline, and then you have all of these kind of innies, I guess. And you've got a garland, you've got baubles or decorative ornaments, my goodness, bows, you've got tree trunks, and then you've got even more patterned insides for the trees. So for today's fun fold project, I'm going to use this inner and then the outer tree image. So let's get started. I'm going to go with some of the colors that are in the designer series paper that I'm going to use, and you'll see that in a minute. So I'm going to use smoky slate for the tree outline, and then I'm going to use basic white for the inner part of the tree. Now, this inner part of the tree is super delicate. Let me show you. I die cut a sample one so you could see it. Really hard to apply glue to the back of that without smudging or smearing or getting sticky all over. So I decided to use some of the adhesive sheets on the back. I highly recommend adhesive sheets, particularly for this bundle because of the sort of more intricate interior part of the tree and the embellishments. So I'm going to die cut those out. And then while I'm over at my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, I've got a scrap piece of crushed curry, and I'm going to die cut the star. I bet you know what I'm going to use that for. Back in a moment. Now for this fun fold, I'm going to use smoky slate as my card base, and I've cut it 8.5 by 5.5. And what you want to do is use a scoring tool. I've got my Simply Scored. You're going to score it at 2 inches, 3 1/8, 5 3/8, and 6.5. Okay, I'll say it again. 2, 3 1/8, 5 3/8, and 6.5. And that's all there is to it. Now, when you fold on the score lines, you want to end up with your fun fold looking like this. So this would be valley fold, this would be mountain fold, this would be mountain fold, and this would be valley fold. So as long as it looks like that, you'll be good to go. Now, let's work on some decorations. To start decorating my fun fold, I'm going to use 2 leftover strips of the Nests of Winter Designer Series paper. Now, I would love to show you the entire pack, but I've used it all up pretty much. So here it is here. It's in our September to December mini catalog on page 31, and there's lots of really fun designs in it. I'm going to use 2 designs that are quite subtle. So I'm going to bring in my fun fold, and what I want to do is I want to adhere 1 strip to there and 1 strip to there. Now, when the card is folded up, you won't see a lot of it, but when it's standing on somebody's mantle, after they receive this card in the mail, they'll be able to see both strips of designer series paper. So keep that in mind when choosing your patterns and directionality. And I'm going to adhere these down using my multi-purpose liquid glue. Now the next thing I'm going to do is take a piece of basic white, and I'm going to use one of my blending brushes and my crumb cake ink, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color to the edge of this layer and maybe a little bit in the center as well. I just don't want this white layer to be really stark because it's going to be like a forest scene, and the forest isn't really stark white, is it? Now what I want to do is take one of the phrases from the Decorative Trees stamp set. It says, "For you," and I'm going to ink it with smoky slate, and I'm going to stamp it near the top of this layer. And the reason I'm doing my phrase first is so that I know I'm making room for it. And then I'm going to add my tree in a bit. Now the next thing I want to do is attach my tree. Isn't that pretty with the snowflakes on it? Love it. And I'm going to bump it up off this layer using some mini Stampin' Dimensionals. I've got my mini Stampin' Dimensionals on the back, and I want to put my tree somewhat down near the bottom of this layer, keeping room for my star, which I'm going to add next using a mini Stampin' Dimensional. All right, now what I want to do is I want to take this layer that I've just created, and I'm going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue to adhere it onto my fun fold. All right, it's coming along beautifully. Now you might be wondering, but where do you write a message? Let me show you. I have another strip of basic white. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to put it down here, and I'm going to add another couple of decorations and then leave room for my message. If you head on over to my blog after this video is over, I'll show you what it looks like on the back side. Now, let's think embellishments. Now, I'm always curious as to what embellishments you would use on a card like this, so leave me a comment in the description box under this video and tell me what you would use. What I am going to use are some of the iridescent faceted gems. I think these are really pretty, sort of snowflakey, so I'm going to add a couple of those, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. Here we go. My card is done. Now here's what's really cool about it, is you can fold it in like this and it fits perfectly inside an envelope. And then when my sister gets this, because this is where this card is going, she will then open it up and stand it up on her mantle like so. So I will try and take a picture of it, or I will take a picture of it standing up, and I'll put it over on my blog so that you can see it as well. If you would like a complete listing of the supplies that I used and the measurements for the layers, I will link to my blog article in the description box under this video. You can head over there and get all the information you need. And if you would like the ordering number for this bundle so that you can make so many gorgeous card ideas this year as well, you can leave me a comment in the description box, and I'll also include the ordering numbers over on my blog. I'm Terry. I am Nuts About Stamping. I'll see you at the next video. Bye for now.